I'm Laetitia Miéral, I'm a paper magician, and in this paper secret I'm going to share with you how to make a flower with mulberry paper, painting and wood glue. This is actually a very small slice of my very big shoe house workshop, and in this part I was sharing how to make flowers, to make some decor, adding some trees, some towers, little things at the very top of the shoe house. It was a possibility for my apprentice magicians who want to do that. So you are going to see a slice of it, and I hope it's going to help you to make your flowers, or perhaps to learn new ways to make a flower. And to add, you see we're going to do a flower, and I used my thicker iron wire, and I already cut 2 little pieces in my slightly thinner iron wire. But if you only have one, you can play with the same. The thing is, this one is a little easier to shape. So I'm going to cut. I've cut a lot of little strips like this. I have a lot, so I will see how I use them. I'm going first to use a dry one like this, very thin one, and I'm going to add some glue and glue my very first little piece like this. And my glue. And I'm going to attach it very tight. And another piece. And we are going now to wrap everything with a thin layer. This one is going to be wet, and I'm going to use some green. So I'm going to make it with some blue and yellow. If you have your green, you can use your green. And I'm going to wrap. Add some glue. So it's not, you see, it breaks a little, it doesn't matter. You will add several ones all along. And you see, it's really easier if you keep your iron wire like this. It's so much easier. Okay, and now we are just going to create just the center of the flower. The thing with the flowers, which works really nice, is to work in several times. If you really want to create a super sophisticated flowers, you start. I'm going to create a sort of, I don't know how, it's not going to be a rose, what we're going to do here. And the thing is, you can really add a lot of petals and all that, but the only thing is you have to let it dry. In the middle of the making of the flower. So you're first going to do the center here, and you see, just as we did for the wisteria, I'm going to create a little something here. I still need to wrap this. You can make it big or small, whatever you want, and we will let this dry first, because it's super not comfortable and easy to work, to do a very sophisticated flower. You see, I added a bit of glue there. And I'm going to try to reshape it. Use your little tool to create nice little things. And I'm going to do the same for this one. And we are going to do also the leaves if you want. The leaves, if you want to do some leaves for your flowers. I add some glue there, and also added some there. And I try to make it whole. It's not easy because it's super wet. Okay, so I've started to create one. I'm going to show you how to do something like this. You can add really as much as you want. You take your paper, your painting, your yellow, green, whatever you want. And oops, you create a bit of glue. And you're going to try to have it the shape of a leaf. So you really fold them. You can use your scissors if you're not happy with the shape. like this, and you glue it. And we have add some glue. Perhaps we can add another extra layer here, but as there are some glue, it's going to really stay this way. You see? And we can use a paper here just to secure all this with the same color, yellow green. And now we really need to let this dry first. You can't really go further, you're going to damage everything. So if you have some sunshine, let them totally dry. We can also possibly secure a little this behind the center of the flower. If it doesn't glue well, you can take other little pieces of paper, painted paper, and you add some glue and you try to secure them. I added some brown there to make them hold. It's not easy here, but it's going to hold. Usually it's going to hold when it's dry. Okay, so I let my flower dry a few hours and it's super dry now, super, you see, and it's going to be so much easier to work. So I only added, you see, 2 leaves there. You could really add much more if you want to. We are going to work on the petals. I'm going to show you something else I did for another thing I didn't use. I started there on the other way around. I started with the petals first, then I was supposed to add this, which wasn't added yet. I'm going to use it for something else, but here we are going to, it works both ways, but I think it's a little easier to work first, adding the center of the flower. Okay, so I'm going to use a lot of bits and pieces of mulberry I didn't use. It's just the best here to recycle things you didn't use yet, which are a bit too small to work for a bigger project or bigger thing, but really nice for the petals. So let's do this. So I'm going to paint it. You can choose the color you want. You can play with the colors with some darker shade, some lighter, less intense colors as well. Really, like we did our leaves, I'm just going to, the glue is important. You remember, you really don't have, you really absolutely have to add them, otherwise your petal wouldn't really work. And I'm going to add a lot of it all around. And the thing is, as it's very wet, the more petals you are going to add over here, the more difficult it's going to glue. So just really be careful and go slowly. And my glue. And I'm going to add a lot of them. You always follow the same technique. And you can add as many as you want. You see here, I try to make them quite round, so you can really play. You can add, start here, and you glue the next one under it, and you could also add a bit more here as well. You'll see. You will follow me, see exactly what I do. Just be really careful because it's very fragile. If you really struggle too much here, you can let it dry at this stage completely and you go back to it once it's dry and you add even more flowers, because it's not easy. Just to be sure all this is well glued. And you can do the same with the 2 flowers. If you really struggle, you let everything dry and you come back. It's going to be so much easier. So I have finished to add my petals. They're still super fragile. You can always, you see here, for example, this one has a tendency not to glue very well. So I might add a bit of glue over there. Really be careful. This petal thing is not so easy. It looks quite simple, but they're very heavy, and really, as I said, really remember you can always stop After 3 or 4 petals added, you can stop and come back. So you see here I have added some pink paper with the same color here, just to be sure it was even more secured. And now I just would like to add some little green things flowers often have at the back of their petals. So we are going to use green and mulberry, and you are going to see what I do. I'm just going to do little thin 3 or 4 of them here, and also add a green paper here to hide this. And we will be good. We will let them dry a little and add them to the boot. So for this, you're just going to cut a bit of mulberry like this. Add some green, the same color of your other green. Add your glue. And you just do little things like this, you see? Just little things you are going to add here. You can make them a little bigger if you want, or you can skip that too. I'm adding a bit of glue. I think they often have this sort of thing. Roses have this. A lot of them has this sort of thing. So here I should have made it go. It's not a very big one. I'm going to make them slightly bigger. I'm going to leave you to do what you want. If you want to add some green grass everywhere or not, perhaps you are just happy with your boot this way. At least you have to let things dry now several hours, and then we will do the finishes. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you learned a few things. Feel free to ask me some questions, some comments in the box below. I'll be happy to reply to you. You can always share this video with your friends who you think might be interested in flowers, sculpting with paper, mulberry paper. You will find below the link to the entire full shoe house workshop, which includes these flowers, but also making a tree, sculpting crockery, little pieces of furniture, and of course doing the entire shoe house, which is quite intense workshop. There are about 10 hours of video content in this workshop, so it's quite intense, but there are a lot of things to learn too. So in case you are interested, you know it's there, and you can always subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any new videos. And now I will leave you here, and I see you soon for a new paper secret.